Well, good morning. The early bird gets the worm, huh? 352 people. That's good enough to have a conversation. Usually I wait till around 1,000 people join in. But I know most of you are either hungover, sleeping in, or just trying not to do anything on a Saturday, which is fun. But if y'all could just take a second, if you would, and just post back to me that you can hear me okay. 5 by 5 would be adequate. Let me know. I should be okay. I'm sitting right next to the my house has these connection devices that allows the internet supposedly to be bounced around better. So I should be okay today. If not, then that'll prove that they're trying to keep you from hearing me. Awesome. Thank you so much. So anyway, hope you're all doing well today. I had to do some special navigation today to get in here before my wife commandeers my schedule for the weekend. As you know, we have in the United States, we celebrate Mother's Day tomorrow. So if you're listening, don't forget. I've made the mistake like once in my lifetime, and that never will happen again. So the title of this one here is "Something New Under the Sun," and obviously it's a play on words as I usually like to do, either somewhere in my presentation or in the title of the spaces. What prompted me with this one, because I had no intention of really doing one, but I got up this morning. I was going through the normal comedy strips that I look on X and listen to the people that think they know what they're talking about, or they think they know me, or they think they know what you're learning is rebranded this, that, and the other thing. And I saw, I replied to them, well, not them directly. One of their posts garnered the attention of the fanboys that love to sit around and circle jerk and say that they know everything about ICT and it's rebranded. And he said that Larry Williams is the real author of SMC. And they're pulling up books that I told you to buy yourself. Short-Term Secrets to Long-Term Success by Larry Williams, which is kind of, it's a hodgepodge of a lot of his stuff he's done throughout his, his teaching. And I'm not dumping on Larry Williams, okay? So don't take this out of context. I'm just stating let's be factual here. Um, just for your history lesson, I'm not going to go through everything that I use in my repertoire down to the infinite detail here, because obviously that I'd be spending more time just pointing to things I've already said in my YouTube channel. But there are some things that obviously inspired me to either improve upon or to outright say that is not true. That's not what's going on. Like buying and selling pressure is a myth. That's actually not what's going on in price action. I think you can clearly see that now. And anyone that's denying that is either selling a course which is wrapped around some bullshit, logic that retail, Ichimoku, supply and demand, Elliott Wave, Wyckoff, all those things. They're all gimmicks. They're gimmicks, folks. Okay. There's a verse in the Bible says, "There's nothing new under the sun," and people take that and they stretch it to bounds that encompass things that it didn't really mean. For instance, the world record is only the world record until it's broken. And guess what that becomes? A new world record. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. The idea of technology increasing. Well, take trading for example, since that's what we're here for, right? We used to trade with hand-drawn charts. I came from that generation. In fact, I was the last generation before electronic trading kicked in. A lot of you listening weren't even alive yet, weren't even an itch in your daddy's jock yet. And guess what? You have no idea what it was like to be trading back then when margins were much more reasonable, and commissions were exorbitant. Now you have extremely cheap commissions, and you have everything at your fingertips, and yet you still cry like little babies because it isn't spoon fed to you. Not all of you, but you know the people in the community, not just my community, in FinTwit. You know who they are. So technology has changed. Something new under the sun. We have the ability to push a button and charts are populated on our charts in our phone, in our hand. Think about it. You have more power in your hand than the President of the United States had 30 years ago. That's wild. But you don't recognize it because the rate of technology is speeding up so fast, everything's obsolete 10 minutes ago. So the expression is, and this is what I draw your attention to today because it's just more or less for me to have fun today. Kind of like this set the record straight too, just kind of inspire you to know that what you're learning is from the real McCoy himself, me, and what you're learning isn't anywhere else, despite someone showing you a chart in a book that I actually recommended you buy. So for the sake of completion here, if you so desire to collect certain trading books, I have over 2,000, and I don't literally believe that the majority of those, not even 2% of them, are worth even opening up. Most of it's regurgitating the same things. It's redundancy. It is almost ambiguous plagiarism, where they don't know what they're talking about, but they're all repeating one another. That's the whole collection of the pursuit of trying to learn how to trade buying books. So I did all that stuff. But the few books that I do like, I've mentioned before, but I'll say it here, and I don't mean this to be a complete list, but Larry Williams, How He Made $1 Million Trading Commodities Last Year, 1970s book. Most of the stuff in that book was what you saw me come out on Baby Pips with and said, here it is. And over time, I've already told you that that was a graduated, this is where I started in this process, in this order of how I learned, what indicators I looked at, what indicators I'd done away with. That was actually directly right from journal entries of my own progress because I wanted to see if I could create another ICT 2.0. Given the focus on the things I was going in this order, using these concepts, these principles, these indicators, these things, will you abandon 99.9% of that stuff and see what I saw? And none of you did. Not one of you did. And they would have been all over the place, popular and grown a huge following, and it didn't happen. So I was disappointed because I was hoping I was going to create like a Frankenstein monster in the same situation, but it didn't happen that way. But Larry Williams' book, Short-Term Secrets to Long-Term Success, that book is kind of like his version of Street Smarts. You just take a look at that presentation style, and I think he kind of like applied it to his own tools and things that he used over the years. And there's a section there where he says, here's a breakout, and then he's trading the other direction. Okay. And what people don't realize is those ideas, they're not unique to anyone. Larry Williams didn't create that. Linda Rasch and Larry Connor's book, Street Smarts, they have these like little bullet point ideas of trading setups. And I believe that's a good book too. And only because it had a big impact on me in understanding stop hunts, because I didn't see that as a thing until around, well, 1995, I started feeling the pain of it. And I didn't want to admit what I was feeling was likely true, which was those guys are out to get me. Okay. And Larry Williams had always said, you know, there are people out there that say, those guys did it to us guys again. That's verbatim coming out of his teachings. That's how he says it. And his view, and if it hasn't changed, I wouldn't know, but at least for a long, long time, Larry held true to you put your stop loss in the wrong place. Yeah, that's true. That's true, Larry. That's absolutely true. If you get stopped out, you did put your stop loss in the wrong place, but you placed it exactly where they want you to place it. And understanding where those stops will be placed in advance is a skill set that I teach. Not just simply, oh, here's a breakout and it reverses. And if you look at what he teaches in his books, and I've said this before, initially I could not make that part work, which is selling weakness and buying strength. I just couldn't make it work for me. And because I am a contrarian at heart, you know, I consider myself a breaker, as the Bible teaches. I'm standing in the way. And I look at things like when Larry said he wanted to know how to buy below the opening price and know that he could do it. He had one entry method called OOPS, where if you open less than the previous range and rallies back up 20% of the previous range, that's one iteration of it, by the way. He's had several iterations of OOPS over the years, but the original, it's simply taking 20% of the previous range, and if it opens less than or below the low of the previous range, if it rallies back 20%, he'd be a buyer of that, and then use like a huge stop loss. That at the time, I couldn't weather that. Like I couldn't, at that time, I didn't have the money to be able to do that. And the guts, really. So I listened to what he said, where he admitted a weakness on his part and said he wished he knew the zip code of the traders that was buying below the opening price on large range days. So that was like, whoa, if I could figure that out, not only would I impress him, but I'd be able to do something he couldn't do, and that would feel like amazing, feat. So that's what I set out to do. For years, I worked on the methodology of looking at examples of where it did this and where it did that over the years. And long and short of this is sometimes I felt like I was on the right path. Other times I felt like I was completely going in a circle and wasn't figuring anything out. And then finally it clicked. By having Street Smart's book, the simplicity of just watching that book outline how the turtles, who were really big deals back then when I first started, they were the secret society of traders that everybody wanted to delve into. What were they doing? How are they making these hundreds of millions of dollars, And it came out that their strike rate was extremely low, in the 30% likelihood that the trade what they would take would be profitable. Now, would you be willing to take 70% plus losing trades and feel like you got a winning system? To me, it made no sense. So quickly, I was like, oh, well, they don't know anything. They're just getting lucky. But they're a long-term trend methodology. So these long-term trends allow them and afforded that type of trading to yield huge winners because it took a long time for trades to get stopped out. But they got stopped out a lot frequently. So Linda and Larry, not Larry Williams, but Larry Connors, co-authored a book, and they talked about this false breakout pattern of a 20-day high or a 21-day high breakout and then go short if it fails. And again, look at these examples in the book. Larry Williams, Short-Term Secrets to Long-Term Success book, which is wonderful. And look at Street Smart's books, okay? Now you're going to see these books in open, high, low, close format. That's the language we used back then until we got comfortable with the idea that candlesticks are better on the eyes. It's easier to see what you're looking for instead of straining for the little dash for the opening price and a dash to the right of the bar for the closing price. And if you look real close, folks, you look real close, you'll see my fair value gap in their charts that they're not making any mention of. And they're going right to the consequent encroachment, and then the turn happens. But they're selling short on weakness, way down below those levels, or buying way above it. So when you see those types of things, and they don't exist in Wyckoff books either, anywhere, you see these things and you see people say, well, it's ICT rebranding it. And guess what I found? Chris Laurie's deleted tweet where he says very plainly in his own words when I asked him, because I threatened to bring him into a lawsuit because I had someone acting like a dickhead, and they've been since humbled. And I told you it would happen just like that. But he said, no, I don't see your stuff in there. But he basically said it like this, no, and he gives some bullshit spin on words to save face publicly. Because I caught him in emails talking two-faced. One side of his mouth, he's talking to me in an email. And then when other people saying, yeah, ICT rips you off. Oh, yeah, everybody's figured him out by now. I made that guy lots of money by putting people onto him. And you never seen him trading. You saw him putting a line saying, okay, we're going to watch this and we're going to watch that. That's not fucking trading. That's not trading. He invited me into his shit. Okay? He invited me. And I told him in an email, I said, I will make this stuff public unless you come out right now. Because I know you don't do any fucking thing like I'm doing. And I found his tweet. And I'm going to repost it. I'm just kind of come up with a way where I can do it with a little bit of candor because I could be a real dickhead. But why would you delete that? Why would you delete a comment that says, no ICT, no, Michael, I don't see my own work in there, because you want people to believe I did that. And see, you fucked up because I'm that kind of guy. I am that kind of guy that will rub your fucking nose in it. Chrissy, that Olympic competition state of mind, you fucked up, buddy. You fucked up. I am the fucking man in trading. I am the motherfucker that can do this. I plan and schedule my losing trades. I told you this week. I know where I'll mess up. I've done the work on that area. Okay? But there ain't a motherfucker walking this planet gonna be able to say that I took their stuff and rebranded anything. If anything, if stuff that worked in my hands when I was younger, I improved it. I made it work. I made it applicable. I made it where you can go into the charts and see it and set your clocks to it. SMT divergence, I've been very open about it. The idea and the premise came from Larry Williams' book, How I Made $1 Million Trading Commodities last year. And he's talking about comparing like markets. I said this when I was teaching it. I've always maintained it. And I've always given his flowers and his credit. Looking at a commodity, looking at closely correlated commodities, well, doesn't it go without saying that if you apply that to currencies, in his own words, this works really well trading the currency market. Well, what do you think I was doing as a Forex trader? I'm going to do that. But there was no real name for it. You know, it's just relative strength analysis. Yeah, I didn't like that term because it sounded like the relative strength index. And I hated that indicator. I hated it. Despised it. So I called it SMT. Smart money technique, smart money tool. To me, it's applicable. I didn't go around and trademark it and say, I can put a trademark on it. You can't say it. I mean, it's so small. It's insignificant in what it is that I do. I don't need a chart, folks. Okay? I'm before the chart. Before you see your chart, I already know it. I've proven this to you, but yet you deny it. And the people that are struggling, they can't stand it, they're going to tell you, or other people that are willing to listen to the bullshit and say, this is all rebranded. It's never been seen. It's always been seen like this. It's always been like this. No, it hasn't. No, it's not. You've never seen anybody calling it to the tick. You've never seen anybody do that. Now, I've never seen Al Brooks trade. I've never seen Al Brooks call every 1 minute candle. I've never seen anyone tell me that he could tell you the time that the setups are going to form. I've never seen that. And maybe you're going to hear all the ambient sound in the background because I'm doing my normal routine. Oh, the day in the life of ICT. We're hearing it. Yeah, you're hearing it. You're going to see it. It's just boring. But I love reading these guys when they put these little comments up there and saying that it's nothing. There's nothing new under the sun. Let me tell you something. Everything I teach is a new ray of sunshine. Every single time I present it, because I'm giving you something that you aren't supposed to know. You're not supposed to know that. See, everybody knows about RSI. Everybody knows about Bollinger Bands. Everybody knows about supply and demand zones. And why isn't it everybody's making money with that stuff? If it's so obvious and this is the way the markets work, why isn't volume profile cracking the code for everybody and they're all retired? And where's the yachts at? Where's all that was the expression when I came up. The funny expression everybody said, if there was going to be a meme back then being shared, memes weren't a thing back then, but funny one-liners were. That's where my wit comes from. I came up in that industry because I was never really witty as a young man. I was quiet, and my sense of sarcasm and snarky responses has been conditioned over the years when I was on internet relay chat. So you had to be fast on your feet back then because people that were very, very good at talking down to other people, they could slice and dice you pretty quick. So I had a lot of scar tissue built up over the years. So that's why I have a remark that comes right off the cuff real fast. And some of these 20-year-olds they're not prepared for it. But this idea that there's nothing new under the sun, I make a mockery of that every day on social media. I tell you where the market's going to go. I set up the people that don't believe in what I'm teaching. I give them exactly what they think they believe. They believe that I only trade demo. They believe that I have 20 different computers and I'm recording everything, but yet I still show the same fucking trades. Scroll to the left, ICT. Scroll to the left. It's still there. Do that on your demo account that keeps getting reset. You can't do that. You can't do it. Why do you keep showing that the market hours is open tab? What's the point of that? The point is it's not market replay. The point is I'm rubbing your nose in it. That's the point. Because there is something new under the sun. There's lots of things that are new that I've never shown before. All the stuff you've seen to this point is still nothing. It's nothing. That's why I have such a great time on social media, because reading these people pretend that they know what you're talking about is your progress learning. You're coming away from retail logic, or obviously, if you're smart and you didn't get bogged down with all that stuff initially as a retail trader, you're kind of coming in with a perspective that if you've never seen indicator trading, if you've never seen other schools of thought in retail aspects, as soon as you start looking at it, you're like, what in the hell is this? And why would anybody look at that versus what the price is doing and what time it is? That's it. Where's the liquidity? Where's the inefficiencies? And what day of the week is it? And where are we at in the daily range, time-wise? That's all that matters, because the algorithm only cares about that. It doesn't care about your Ichimoku position based on a cloud, based on a candlestick pattern, based on a moving average crossover, based on an overvaluation or an undervaluation of an indicator that absolutely has no bearing on what price is going to do. If there's nothing new under the sun, why does all these new forms of indicator keep coming out? Again, you're trying to stretch something to comfort you because you're seeing shit that shouldn't exist. I told you I had to do it wrong, baby. I had to do it wrong. But see, you don't believe it. You don't believe it because it's too good to be true. And I take that as a compliment. Thank you. Thank you, detractors. Thank you, doubters. Thank you, people that call me a scammer. I love it because without you, the people learning and seeing it in their own hands wouldn't be even more motivated by it. You not having said so. That's like a pinch to them that, yes, this shit's real. And yes, you are being cut out of a mold that few people can press themselves into. See, you have this normalcy bias, folks, that you deny me, you deny what I teach, and deny what I prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. I'm out here where I have to be right. Not you as a student. You don't have to be right. See, the people that sell mentorships, they love the idea that I'm trying to teach you to be right. No, I'm teaching you how to operate and not demand perfection and still be profitable. But daddy can walk this shit every day and come home a winner because it's my stuff. It's mine. I know when they're going to work and when they're not really going to work. I know that. What I don't know is when they're going to step in and intervene manually. And I have protocols and procedures for that. I know where I'm likely to fail. I know I know buying during a protraction where the market's going to reach down into a lower PD array for a discount, then go higher. Well, that makes a perfect scenario to go in there and do, I'm going to go long here and put a very, very small stop loss, extremely small, so that way it looks like I messed up. And the trolls get fever pitched and salivating. They can't wait. Oh, look at this guy. He invented the algorithm. He took a loss. And then I really shunned the waters. Oh, took another loss. Look at that. Look at that. And then it delivers. Then it delivers. It was right where I said it was going to go. It went above it a little bit. Thursday's high. And then Friday's non-farm payroll Friday high last week. And that's about all we got in it. The daily fair value gap traded down into it, didn't close below it, and we stayed inside pretty much the range I outlined. But trading in the direction of that higher buy side liquidity pool on NQ's daily chart. So that's we're not seeing nothing new under the sun. We're seeing something new under the sun. We're seeing proficiency. We're seeing consistency. We're seeing foresight. We're seeing precision-based ideas that are unrivaled in this industry. That's something new, folks. When I was coming up, we didn't have that. We didn't have one guy or one style of trading leading entirely all the time in first position all the time. But see, you're in that moment right now. You are in a Gann moment. You are in a Wyckoff moment. You are in a Jesse Livermore moment. You're listening to the person right now that all of those motherfuckers will be sitting in my classroom taking notes. And if that has a problem, it makes you all uncomfortable. This guy's arrogant. It's not arrogance. That's the absolute facts. That is absolute fact. Because you never seen them go out there and do that. You know, Gann wasn't even a profitable guy. Oop, weren't prepared for that. Jesse Livermore blew his brains out because he went bust. But these are the people that you all think I copied, and I don't have anything from them. Wonderful stories in terms of don't do this. But they would all be listening to this space right now if they were here. And they'd be looking at everything I ever put out there because what I'm teaching you never existed before. Just because you're looking at the same price charts and you're looking at shit after it's happened, that's easy to say. This resembles something. None of these people come forward and says, this is what this procedure, this is the methodology, calls for this, this, and this. And ICT is going to be able to say, here's this is going to line up. Have you ever seen anybody doing that? Because it's never fucking happened. I've challenged it. I've said it all the time. If my stuff is something else, Save everybody time. Save them time. Get $5 million from me in a direct wire where you've proven beyond a shadow of doubt that whatever I'm teaching, institutional order flow entry drill, SIBIs, buy-side and balance, sell-side efficiency, all these things, where they're going to form, the first presentation of them, and how they're going to be used throughout the week and the day. See, folks, George Angel with S&P trading, he never had the shit I'm teaching. It did not exist. See, in the beginning, I knew when I told people these were the people that were influential to me. It doesn't mean that they make my trading special. They were influential to me. What I learned from George Angel was the day was divided because this guy was a floor trader. The ebb and flow of what the market was doing, how these rushes of volume coming in, that's what made floor traders profitable. They could see the orders coming in. They could watch this massive shift where, man, there's a lot of buying. There's a lot of buying. And they all knew where the whale accounts were. And when these big whale accounts would start buying, what are they going to do? They're going to dogpile on top of it. They only need a little bit, but a little bit in their hands down there in the pits, you could be making millions of dollars in a month. But trading, because of patterns and shit, that's not what they were doing. They didn't have the luxury of having charts. They're standing down there in the pits, listening to these people rage about being short or being long, getting in and getting out. So they just dogpiled. That's all floor trading was. Yes, they had the pivot numbers. They knew that it was likely going to gravitate to that level down there. But really what they were watching was the order flow that was literally in their fucking hands. Ticket runners running down to the pit screaming, I got an order. I got an order. This is what I got. This is how many contracts. And they start ripping it across. They're hollering it out there. Some of you 20-years don't even know what the fuck that means. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about half the time, let alone how these markets booked before they were electronic. I have floor traders, very successful floor traders, that were in my fucking mentorship that paid to learn from me because they couldn't do shit when they left the pit. Couldn't transition. Couldn't do it. They don't have a problem now. But you're learning technical science. You are in something that's new under the sun. You're experiencing something where they're going to write books about all of this stuff. And you were here when it happened. See, when you read a book about Gann, you read a book about Wyckoff, you read a book about Dow, Charles Dow, you don't really have an affinity for that. I know I didn't. I was like, whatever. To me, it sounded like Stalin, Abraham Lincoln, people, yeah, they maybe existed, but really, who gives a shit? See, I put out there a persona like Stone Cold Steve Austin because it causes people to argue and wrestle and reason. Does this guy know what he's talking about, or is he full of shit? And I love fanning the flames to have just enough for the people that don't want to warm up to the idea because they have hero mentality of loving something else, that they're going to talk. And that talking advertises for me. It's the same broken people that do it. And they are employed by me and they work for free. Their hate is a 100% validation to what you're learning sets you apart. These people that complain and say these things that I'm teaching are rebranded, they've never came forward and proven anything. Not one thing. And the proof is, again, I'm making it public. I have $5 million US, 100% real fucking money. Someone still has yet to come out and say, here's where he gets the time for that fair value gap. This is the aspect of where he wants to use the lower half and the upper half when it changes in the state of delivery. Listen, folks, there has never been, ever, people talking, oh, Chris Laurie. Chris Laurie couldn't do shit if we sat one by one. And I know you're going to hear it because they're going to give you the soundbite, Chris. I will invite you to use the stuff that you do right now. And if you do it better, I will give you $1 million, or I'll give you $1 million to your charity of choice. But it has to be live streamed, and we have to put it in a real account. Just one day. That's easy. Easy. And I promise you, I will bring out 5 things I've never fucking taught before that'll roll your fucking socks up. Now, put your money where your mouth is. Don't be double-minded. Don't speak out both sides of your mouth. When a fanboy or fangirl talks to you and says, oh yeah, this guy at ICT is arrogant, blah, 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 but you're so humble. You're not fucking humble. You're a fucking fraud. You don't go on public social media and say, no, I don't see your stuff and showing my stuff in it. I don't see that. And then delete the fucking tweet. I told you I was going to get that fucking tweet. And I almost didn't want to screenshot it because I was like, nah, he's upstanding. He came out and he pretty much did it. But behind the scenes, I told him that I'm going to drag his ass into a lawsuit. And he was going to testify that what I'm doing ain't his shit. That's how far I was willing to go back then. So he came out and did it. And I thanked him for it. But then the tweets disappeared now. Tweet has been removed. Why would that? Why would you want to do that? Because that helps promote the idea that you think that other people, and some people that are stupid, will really believe that I took Chris Lori's stuff. I've been trading longer than Chris Lori. I've been teaching longer than Chris Lori. Okay? I am absolutely 100% willing to do this against anyone. And I've shown all of you. Billy Big Bogs, what's his name? Lance. Mr. Couple $1 million here and there with other people's money. I told him, let's go. Crickets, ran away, keep frauding, keep scamming. I'm calling it before it happens. I'm telling you what's going to happen, and I'm fucking taking trades. And dumb shit. Open up a fucking AMP account, or someone with a live AMP account, okay? Put the fucking orders on your screen. Put the orders on your screen. And it's going to look the same fucking way. Come on. These people are stupid. They're fucking stupid. They can't accept what they're seeing is real. They can't. It's completely blown their fucking minds. And I love that. I love that because I got a lot of new students in the last 2 years that hated my fucking guts. And they're like, you know what? Your presentation style really got under my skin, and I wanted to prove you wrong. But damn it, when I went in there, it was a bitter pill for me to swallow and say, you know what? He's right. He got me. Because I want you to hate me. I want you to not trust me. I want you to fucking go in there and say, you know what? I'm going to prove this son of a bitch a liar. And guess what happens? You're a fucking convert. You're convinced. Because you can't escape it. When you do the real work, you can't escape. What I'm teaching you is the market. Because I am the fucking algo. I'm making it very plain and telling you right now, I am the fucking market maker. I am the motherfucker that runs your stop. I am the motherfucker that sets the daily high and low. I am the motherfucker that works out all this shit in advance. And if you can't see it, if you can't recognize it, if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, it went completely over your fucking head. And you deserve to be right where you're at because you're not trying to learn. You're trying to listen to all these people talk out their ass and they can't do shit. They can't do anything but talk out their ass. What do you think I'm doing every fucking day? What do you think I'm doing? It's not magic tricks. Price is only going to go where everybody sees it go. And it's going where I say it's going to go. And it's not simply saying enough that, yeah, I can trade. It's not enough to say that. Not for me, it ain't. It's not enough to say that I can be consistent in front of all of you. That's not enough for me. I want to fucking twist that dull edge over and over and over again for the people that have lied and talked shit. And they're silent. They can't say shit and have any meaning behind it. Look at all the people that are standing out in our industry right now. They're among you. They are your brethren. They have been in the same position you're in right now, listening to the same person talk to you right here, right now. What changed? What changed? The two biggest paid out traders in the prop firm industry, and I'm only talking about the prop industry because it's a hot topic right now. But I have students that have quadrupled both Kyle and Kane in 1 year. But they don't give a fuck about your acceptance of them. They don't want to be hounded. What model do you use? What PDF do you use? What are you doing? Because that's exactly what everybody does. Well, how do you use an ICT? It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. How are you using what I taught? That was the invitation. But both Kyle and Kane have been honest. They said they were fucking wrecks as traders. They were doing all kinds of stuff. They tried everything. They tried every fucking thing. But my life's work made them millionaires. Sure, absolutely. They had to condition themselves, and 90% of the work was done by them. Don't get it twisted. But how they think, how they talk, you can tell they're one of mine. And you're here, and you're in that process just like they are, just like they went through. They're not at their peak right now. It's at their highest performance right now for them, but that's not their peak. I guarantee you, if you gave both of them the stage to speak exactly how they want to speak and dismiss the idea of arrogance, dismiss the idea of not appearing humble, just talk plainly, they know. They fucking know that they can walk out there and smash this shit when they want. But because now they've been recognized, I'm very interested to see how they handle it. Because as a 20-year-old on America Online, I was a fucking nut job. I was out there flashing everything. And I didn't have the skills I have right now. I was half-baked, not fully refined, but I knew I was on the right track of getting something that nobody could come close to. And when you do that, day after day after day after day after day, every fucking market you talk about, it does it. You think that doesn't go unnoticed? Because it got noticed. And you see people, you meet people, they question you. How do you know this? How do you know that? What are you doing? How are you doing this? And how are you doing that? You're set apart. There's something new under the sun. This aberration, this oddity, this fucking mutant, where did he come from? How is this guy able to do this? That's the question I love prying into your mind and forcing you to ask yourself every day. How am I able to do this if I'm not what I claim to be? So you're forced to either deal with the uncomfortable state of knowing that I'm calling this stuff before it happens, and I'm showing you the executions and sliding to the left that your reset demo account won't show. So where are you at with that, Virginia? Where are you at with that? You can waste a whole lot of time. You can waste a whole lot of time trying to make me out to be a liar. And 1/4 of the time that you put into that, just working with what I'm simply inviting you to test it and see if you don't see it. Test and see that you will not have any reliance on retail logic once you start looking at it this way. And it gives you visibility. It gives you clarity. And here's the number one rule here. What sets me apart? I know when not to do it. Your gurus, these authors, these other educators, even the big old time giants, they can't tell you when not to trade because they tell you, my system's calling for this as a buy signal right now. Okay. I have PD arrays that if I don't know the fuck I'm doing, all right, looks like a bullish order block. Well, let's go long when it trades down into it. It fails. I know. I know when that's going to happen. That's narrative. I gave you a narrative this week. Look out, hand out in your charts. What's above Thursday and Friday's highs? Buy side, buy stops. It reached primarily this week up there and only went down to that daily bullish yellow. If you go back and look at the analysis, it went down into that by one or two ticks below it, but didn't close below it. And I told you that it remains bullish until it closes below that daily fair value gap. That was in yellow. So we're trading inside of a predefined range with a predetermined bias, which was reaching for that higher daily buy-side liquidity pool, but narrowing our focus down to the low-hanging fruit objective for the week would be what? Thursday's high of last week, where it created that wick. And then Friday's non-farm payroll high. Look at your charts. Look at the first presented fair value gap on Monday. Look at Tuesday's first presented fair value gap. Wednesday's first presented fair value gap. Thursday's first presented fair value gap. From morning and PM session, and see what opportunities were available to you. The new week opening gaps over the last 5 weeks, how were they used? See, folks, there is absolutely something new under the sun. I have so many things to share. But the problem is, it doesn't satisfy you when you learn something that makes money, that forms every single fucking day. It's not good enough for you. Why? Because you're infected. You're a very specific type of person. You're ICT infected. You're ICT positive. You're becoming one of me. I'm a virus to this industry. That's why I'm here. And they don't want you knowing this stuff. And if nothing ever gets released from here, we have already disrupted the entire industry. They will be talking about you as a community for a long, long time. And all of you that are learning, that are becoming pillars, I promise you, there are people that are about to spring onto the scene that make Kyle and King look like they just started. And gentlemen, that is not meant to be making a negative remark against you, because what you've done is exceptional. But just know that you have brethren that are about to step the fuck out, and it's going to shock all of you. And don't think for a moment that I don't think that the folks that contact me and say, look, this is what I'm doing, I have no interest in being on social media. I only have an account just so I can see what you're doing. And if I wasn't on X, they wouldn't be here either. And they're smashing it day after day after day, week after week. They're pulling down what the highest leaderboard spot right now in Robbins is. They're doing that every month, over and over and over again. Not in prop, not in fake monetized demo accounts. They're doing it with live brokerage accounts. And to me, I have a lot of respect for that. The fact that they don't want to come out here and show off. They don't want to be seen as anything, because the ones that have been honest about it, they said, I can see how I could get sucked into this And I got to feel like I got to live up to the last experience that I shared online. And that's what influencers have a problem with. I don't run out of yeast. I don't hit a wall in consistency. I don't get it wrong. I don't get it wrong. So they have to spend their time consoling themselves by consoling you by saying trading is mostly sitting around waiting. Trading isn't a perfect scenario where you can avoid a lot of the losses, accept and warm up to the idea that you're going to lose a lot. I don't tell you that. I don't tell you those things. In the beginning, you will suffer that. You will go through that because that's where you discover who you are. You discover the very things that you self-destruct with. Performance anxiety, keeping up with the Joneses expressions in mine here, where you see people, like even myself, just shy of 150,000 just this week, and I didn't trade everything that's available. Bro, talking about, I've been doing this account for a month and a half, and look at what I'm doing. I did it in 3 fucking days and didn't even try. Again, there's a meme. There's this little cheetah. He's sitting in the Greyhound box right before the race starts, and the meme is implying that the race has started, and the cheetah's just chilling inside the box, like, you stupid fucks. Like, I don't need to run this race. I'm already at the finish line if I want to be. And this is not arrogance. I'm not bragging. I'm telling you that you're learning this craft and you're going to have this same skill. But how are you going to handle it once you get there? Because there is going to be something new under the sun for you. How are you going to deal with this success? How are you going to be able to wrestle the confidence and not allow it to become overconfidence and then you turn into a prick? See, a lot of you all want to be a Negan. You want to be a shit-talking ICT. You all like this part of me. But I only use this caricature to get your attention, hold you in place, to listen. Because I always come back around and bring you Mr. Rogers. Give you a little bit of Bob Ross. But I got to get your attention with the abrasive stuff. Because that's what sells wrestling. It ain't the bullshit they do inside that ring. It's the shit talking. It's the promos. It's the shooting. That's the stuff that I fell in love with as a young man. And the people I loved to hate made me so mad. And the people that I looked at as a hero inspired me. Yeah. This one's going to do this and he's going to beat you up. And I tackle those very things in my presentation. And I capture your attention. And I hold your attention with that stuff. And I know there are people that have little dick energy. They don't like when I do this because they think, oh, look, he's bragging. He doesn't have a track record. So look at what I'm fucking putting down every day. These people that talk that shit, they never come here and wrestle me. They never stand side by side. Let's do it. Something happens always. Something always fucking happens. I'll tell you what it is. It's Velcro balls, okay? They can put them on and take them off. Mine are attached to me. And I'm dragging them behind me every fucking day on social media, asking someone to step on them. I dare you to step on them. But they won't do it. If everything out here is something better than what you're learning, why don't they come here? Why don't they show it? Why don't they prove it? Why don't they call it every candlestick? Why don't they tell you where the fucking daily high and low is going to be? Why don't they tell you beforehand? Because they can't. They won't. And that's all there is. Nobody talking shit about what you're learning can outperform it. Just remember that. That's what I'm trying to show you. When I do these types of things and I make these public stunts and stand out here and beat my chest, it's not because I need that. I do it as a reminder to the ones that are weak-hearted, that you're just easily influenced by other people. What do you think fucking matters more? Seriously. Anything that I could show over the last 33 plus years, which could be fabricated. I got a lot of fucking money, folks. I could pay people to do things that make Everything I've ever done looked like it's rainbows and fucking gumdrops. And a lot of you people would foolishly believe because it was presented in a well presented with a ribbon and all kinds of lights and spotlights on this and accolades here and talked about this and stuff. That's what used to be able to be employed on people to scam them. But you know what separates the people that are bullshit? The ones that won't come out there and tell you what's going to happen beforehand. The ones that won't put an execution on, that won't place a fucking stop loss and know that it won't be hit. I said that right. And know that it won't be hit. See, all these other educators out there, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're selling shit because they need that money. If I need to live on ad revenue, why the fuck am I not doing 20 fucking videos a week? Because I don't give a fuck. I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm talking to you right now, and there's no money. I'm not making money on this. All of you that make money by taking these presentations and put them on your YouTube, you're making the money. Think about that logic. How's that a fucking winning campaign? It doesn't make any sense. But people, they just ignore it. They ignore it. They ignore the fact that your captain in arms, okay, your fucking quarterback, that guy, that ICT guy, is out here and telling you what's going to happen. Focus here. It's not going to do anything but this. Just focus on this. Look at these levels. Fuck everything else. Don't listen to anybody else. This is your mark. I'm your spotter every week. You're training to be a sniper. The spotter's job is get range. Where's your range? What are you aiming for? This level. Are you shooting downwind or upwind? Bullish or bearish? I've already given you the skill set. I've already given you the ammunition. The ammunition is a PD arrays. What caliber are you gonna shoot with? 5.56, 223, 30-06, 50 cal. Pick your poison, baby. 9mm, 22 long range. In deference to the ladies just starting out. A little bit of recoil. Still putting rounds on target. See, I make a mockery of everything else. And if a 20-year-old knew what I know right now in me, it would have been a monster. Like, it would have been a monster. But over the years, I have been humbled. May not sound like it, but remember, you're listening to a caricature. You know what a caricature is? It is an expression. It's an impersonation of something that is not the actual person. When you look at Brad Pitt, when you look at George Clooney, when you look at Robert De Niro, who's become a real piece of shit as recent, and Al Pacino, okay? The characters that they play in the movies, that's not them. They're artists. And on social media, you have to be a character. You have to be. Or you have to be naturally interesting. I'm not naturally interesting. In my real life, away from all of you, when I'm not teaching, I'm a very, very frumpy, boring introvert. You would never hear me talk like this if we were in front of one another. But I have to put this persona on to hold your attention because you're not going to listen to the boring stuff. I've done it for a long time. I did it on Baby Pips and nobody was paying attention. Sure, they like the little intros and they like the little vignettes of me putting in sniper stuff. And I was trying to find my way to tap into the group that I wanted because men love to talk shit. We do. Women, not so much. The ones that should have been men, do. Or they pretend they're in. They do. Mona, hello. The idea of looking for this attention, this I need to get attention on myself. I'm giving that to you. I don't need this. But I know that that's what my listeners want to do in their own lives. They want to learn a skill set so they can step out there and do what they think I'm doing right now. But I'm doing it in a setting that's not monetized. They want to do it where they are monetized. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Get your ends met. But I don't have a naturally interesting persona. I don't. So I had to create Inner Circle Trader to draw an attention. I can draw a crowd. As a young man, I studied ninjutsu, and when I was learning about them, and I was like 10 years old when I first learned about them, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Stephen K. Hayes was the first American to learn under Hatsumi. He's a grandmaster of Budokan. And then his student, Shota Tanimura, he started off another thing, Genbukan. And I learned both, but it was really Bujinkan just revamped. And because he wanted to be grandmaster, and Takamatsu said, "You're not going to be." So he tapped Hatsumi, and that was it. Well, long story short, without losing you, uh, the allure of the ninja was you had to be an actor. You had to be able to instill fear in your enemies or make them feel that you're weak when you're not. Sun Tzu, Art of War. Appear strong when you're weak. Appear weak when you're strong. The idea of selling these wrestling events, anybody that's ever got hooked up into that, you got hooked into buying those pay-per-views or going to those events because you like the character that these men and women portray. But that's not who they are. And the ones that do very, very well on social media stay in kayfabe. Kayfabe is where you don't break character. You're in it. Like you're always in it. You're always in character. Those are the people that get really hard to determine if that's really who they are. And for a long time, I allowed you to think that ICT is who I really am. But I'm a very, very fuddy-duddy, simple, stay in the house most of the time, introvert. I don't like to be around a lot of people, not because I'm afraid to be around them. Just most people just don't know how to act. And they don't have any candor, they don't have any, well, decency. You'll see when I'm down there in Florida, sitting across from Patrick Whelan, you're not going to see this ICT. You're going to see Mr. Rogers. You're going to see Dad. You're going to see just like my sons see. That's how it is. But I'll still beat his ass in that day when I'm trading, humbly, quietly, and politely. It's going to happen. You'll know my entry, and you'll know my style, and you know where the market's going to go. But I just want to show you there's a contrast from what people say about what it is you're learning and who I am and what the reality is. The reality is that I could be the biggest jerk and most hated person on the internet, but I don't want that. I like staying right in the middle. And I go back and forth where I'll go just a little bit to the hero side when it starts to get sickeningly, sugary sweet. Then I'll do something to cause people to be upset with me. And I learned this from a magician, Paul Harris. Guy invented a lot of tricks with cards and such. And a lot of the professional magicians, you know, big guys, a lot of Korean magicians, which are phenomenal magicians, by the way, a lot of their work are his craft. Like he created those things, those illusions, but they never get the credit for it. And to look at the guy, he looks like he slept in his clothes for 2 weeks, never brushed his hair, probably homeless next to being homeless. And the logic he shared in one of his interviews with when they were doing, I think it was for Genie magazine. He says, you know, what do you find most interesting as a performer when you're doing shows? He goes, well, I'm not really impressed by the audience's reactions when I do something that I know is astonishing. If I do a magic trick every day in front of you and call a very specific price run every single day, it gets boring after a while. You know what it means to be bored by it now. You're not impressed anymore. It used to be like, wow, look at that. He did it again. I wonder how many times he could do it again. For the people doing it around for a long time, you're not impressed by that. That's exactly how you should be. But you see new people coming to our community all the time, and they watch me call a specific level, call a specific order block, specific fair value gap. It's going to go down here. It's going to get this stop, and it's going to go here. And then it happens in your charts and in mine. Then you look back on the week and say, wow, he saw all this stuff before it happened. And it seems like magic to them. And that's why when I was a young man, I was infatuated with magic. David Copperfield to me was a hero. Like this guy was able to bend time and space and do crazy shit. I actually believed that he passed through the Great Wall of China. That was the moment of astonishment where that veil of reality was disrupted there. Even knowing that that's a magic trick, I was like, how did he do that? My young mind was fascinated with that. So I tap into that in my audience. See, a ninja had to be an actor, had to be a magician, a warrior, a strategist. And I use and I employ those things. I did not read the book of Power. Okay, a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, he's just doing this and doing this, do this." Nothing bullshit. That book is nonsense, and it's written by a guy that says he can get you to get anybody to be seduced by him. Get the fuck out of here! You see this guy? He looks like a fucking overcooked potato. He's not attractive at all. And I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying that just know that I don't use this shit that guy writes about. But Sun Tzu, yep. And the lore of the ninja, that's what I use in my presentation. I am a kabuki actor in front of you. You see me as this samurai, this unbeatable samurai that wields his sword and everybody's head just falls the fuck off. But I wasn't that in the beginning. I was the guy that was afraid to do anything. Certainly never would talk this passionately or authoritative. But I hold authority. I hold authority. I can tell you what everybody else isn't going to be able to tell you, and I can do it consistently. I can tell you why. Before, all the other stuff out there that's available to you, it doesn't do that. It does not do that. And it doesn't matter how much it resembles something after it happens, because unless you saw it beforehand and put a trade on and took it home, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And these people that are wrestling with what you are learning, and some of you are doing exceptionally well now. Some of you are doing so good, but you see things that I'm doing or other traders that are learning the same thing you're learning, and you feel like you're not doing good enough because, man, I just need to get a six-figure payout. I just need to get another big supercar so I can be part of the clique. No, you don't. I promise you, I am the richest motherfucker out here. I am the richest one. I am the most successful one. I am the one that will beat anybody else's ass in trading, period, nonstop, every single fucking day. I am telling you all right now, you can do it. Come out here right now. And I'm not out here buying cars and buying this and showing off what I got and how much I can spend. So why should you feel that way? I'm it. I'm the high seat right now. I'm the highest stack in the fucking industry, and there ain't nobody close to me. And I don't do those things. You don't need to do it either. So why put pressure on yourself like that? Why do you feel like you have to purchase something to appear that you're profitable or well beyond the level of profitability that you may be in reality, but you want to present it like you're really, really profitable? Let me buy a used Lamborghini and put a wrap on it. How about you don't even bring up what you drive and keep it about what you love to do as a trader? Because somebody that's got money like myself, that's more interesting. Because anybody can lease a car, anybody can sell a course, anybody can do affiliate programs and get lots of money doing that. That is not translated to they're very, very good at trading. And there's a lot of people out there that exist in that realm. And they allow people to believe that they're greater than they really are. And very few people that are actually proven they can. And the ones that are doing that, deserve to be recognized, even if you don't like their character. Look at Patrick. A lot of you don't understand that presentation is a mode of engagement. As an influencer, you have to have a hook. You're either going to be a heel, that means you're out there to piss people off just for the sake of being an asshole, and knowing that it's going to get people's attention, or you're going to be everybody's superhero. You're one or the other. And anybody in the middle doesn't have a following worth shit. Nobody talks about them, and they're there. You've seen them once or twice before. People talk about them. They have students, but they just blend in. They don't really stand out. But only the heroes and the heels are the ones that do well on social media. And I knew this when my time on Internet Relay Chat, Merck back then. I was learning how people engaged other people. That's what made me successful as someone that, I mean, think about it. Until recently, in the last few years, you never saw a live account from me. You never saw it. It was always in a paper trading account, whether it was me teaching in Forex or when I transitioned away from Forex to back to where I started as a trader in 1992 as a commodity trader. How can anyone hold the attention of millions of people coming out and being publicly honest and saying, I'm going to teach you in the medium of a paper trading account? Right away, that sets the tone for who's really going to try to learn here and who can't wait to look at that and take shots at it. I told my children and my wife, I said, watch the response I get with this. Because number one, I'm going to be completely 100% legally compliant by saying I'm teaching in this demo account. That way I'm not inspiring you to take real trades. It's not a signal. I'm not acting as a certified trade advisor. I would never do the test to do that because you basically, you have to divulge what it is that you do. I had no interest in doing that. The fuck do I want to teach fair value gaps and overblocks to them for? Fuck that. I'm keeping it to myself. So I'm going to stand out here and put on a clown face for the people that want to see a clown. And I'll wear a kabuki mask to see a samurai warrior for the people that look past all that stuff and say, yeah, he was teaching with a demo account, but he called it to the tick in currencies and in futures. And I let you wrestle that. I let my audience stay divided that way. And I fanned both sides all the time. When the level was getting low on the hero side, pump it up. When I'm not getting enough traction, not enough people talking bad about me, do something to cause them to talk about it. I told you I was going to do it this week. I got to do something wrong. Got to give them something. It worked. They're back to saying, oh, this stuff's rebranded, blah, blah, blah. And that talking gets people reacting. And that one person is going to come in contact with 50 more people. And those 50 people are going to come in contact with 50 more people. And what happens? You grow. And never have to pay for advertising. I act like a pimp. And I hire these Sarahs and Sallys, and I put them on the corner, and they earn from me for free. Every time they talk shit about me, they're drawing attention to me, and they're doing it for free. At their job, they're talking about me. At home, when they wake up in the middle of the night, they come in and check on social media. Let me see what I can talk about. This is how you manage an audience. This is how you do it. And people get wrapped up in it, and they think, you're the biggest piece of shit. You're so arrogant, or you're this, you're a braggart. You don't have a track record. I'm telling you my track record every fucking day. And there ain't a motherfucker out there walking that's this accurate. Because if they were, they'd already been here. They would already showed the fuck up, and they ain't showing up, are they? They're not. But you don't see that. You don't recognize that. Because you're not trying to learn. You're not trying to see the value in what I'm doing. Because I could be making millions and fucking millions every week. Just doing what I'm doing right now. I don't need money, folks. I don't need it. And just like you think you need the materialistic aspects, sure, if you're not equipped as a trader that can be consistently profitable and know exactly what you're doing when not to do it, then it makes sense to have all that materialism around you because it's like, wow, that's fanfare. That seems like something new under the sun for someone that has lack, that doesn't have money, doesn't have luxury items around them. So they live vicariously through the caricature that you're presenting online. And some people go to the extreme and say, this person deserves to have something happen to them in their real life. And some people shouldn't be fucked around with like that. Because the people that do that kind of stuff get got. And you never really hear about it sometimes. But they know it happened. You should get wrapped up. Just like the people that would run in the ring when wrestling matches would go on. These people are working out a script. They're performing for you, your entertainment. But some people are unhinged and they go beyond the realm of reasonable and think this person needs to have something bad to happen to them because they didn't do this or they did this. All of you are adults, or should be, responsible adults. And because I know that there's a large degree of you that are not responsible, you're not in a position where you own your own actions. You take actions directly or indirectly from other people's opinions, and mine included. And I know I have a very strong influence. That's why I kind of like stopped going into my own students' live streams and chatting. Because I would point out certain things, because some of them weren't recognizing it. And I thought to myself, this could be misconstrued as me trying to make them look bad. And it's not what I was doing. I was just trying to make them aware of something in the chart that they're not seeing. And I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I don't want to bring them heat. I don't want them to feel like I'm correcting them. Then it's like it messes them up. And some of them get weirded out just by me being there. And you see them, they start blushing, they start smirking. They're like, I can't believe ICT's in my chat right now. This is fucking crazy, blah, blah, blah. Like I'm something special, like I'm fucking Gandhi. I'm not Gandhi. I don't have that picture of myself where I'm up there. The problem is I want to be just like all of you, where I can go into a chat and just be part of the audience. But when I show up, something new on their son's there. The person that's doing the live stream, they fall to the back seat. Nobody gives a shit about what they're talking about or what they're doing, and they're asking me questions. And that's rude. And I miss that part of being online. Like I don't have that same ability just to go in and listen to somebody and just be a member of the audience and not get all the people in there talking about me, whether good or bad. And these people that do that, they have heroes or they see me as the villain. In between those two bookmarks, these bookends, hero and lovers to hate, you're supposed to be in the middle. Recognize that what I've taught you and what I've authored, I can do very well with it. That doesn't mean that that's where you should be at any given time during your development. None of you are going to be able to trade better than me, ever. That's never going to happen because I'm going to hold back things that make me absolutely beyond touchable. Like absolutely, it's never going to happen. Okay, it's never going to happen. Let's just say it that way. But here's how you will be better than me, because some of you can be better than me. How? How can I be better than ICT? How can I be better than this guy? Number one, don't make the mistakes I did. I put off my success by rushing it. And that just went right over your fucking head. I pushed my success further away from my reach by demanding it happen sooner. And any incremental progress I had, I made it a big spectacle online. And I needed other people to validate me. If you go into your development and you avoid those things, for the men, 90% of your fucking problem is solved right away because you're demanding something that you haven't earned yet. And you're demanding other people to tell you that you're the man, you're the GOAT, you're the greatest of all times, when you can't even do it consistently to the next day. And I needed that inspiration when I was on the internet initially. I mean, I was on America Online when the internet became internet. I was there. None of you in the 20-year-old, maybe in the 30-year-old, can fully appreciate the wild, wild west of what we were all able to do back then. We felt like, this is crazy. This is like the Jetsons now. And now, as a 50-year-old later this year, I'm looking at the technology that we have today, and it's mind-numbing that we have information at our fingertips, just like that. And we can push a button and make money or lose money. You don't have to fly out to Las Vegas or Atlantic City to gamble. You can do it right on your phone. And now you can gamble with a demo account that you pay for with extra rules on it than real trading provides. You see how easy people can be manipulated? Like they're convincing you that it's a good idea for you to have all your hopes on making big payouts through prop firm. When all the rules are stacking against you endlessly, they keep creating more rules, can't do this, can't do that. You can't make more money. Why the fuck are we trading? Why did you start trading? Because you want to make money. Why have they allowed you to view not making more money as advantageous? You can't make more money than this, or you're not being consistent. How about I can make crazy fucking returns every single day, and that is the normal thing, and the prop firm makes allowance for that? Why? The answer's simple. They can't afford to have big winners. Big winners would bankrupt them or prove they won't pay out, and that's bad for business. But they sell the idea that gambling, you might get it. That's just like the lottery. You might be the winner of that $1 billion payout. When you should just say, you know what? I am broke. I'm strapped. I don't have that much money. But I have a new opportunity under the sun right in front of me. And I could maybe employ one account, not fucking 20, not 10, not 15, not as many as you can. How much can I afford to charge up on my fucking credit card right now? Just one. Just one. And take the little bit of money that you can make from that one account, pull it out as you make it. Save up that way to put your money into a real brokerage account that you're going to give a shit about. Because let's be honest, folks, there's no person out there that would ever trade like they see their trades being done in prop when they have 20 accounts. If you had your own money to handle the leverage that you're pushing around that's unbelievable, you would never trade that way with your own money because you see it as it's a cheap reset, and you're trading it's the lottery. That works for a few people, a few, and I can say that confidently because you only see a few people doing it. But that's not what you should do. You should just try to get one. Take one account and prove that you consistent with following a model, that you can wrestle your impulses. You have a limited exposure to what it's going to cost you if you do it wrong. In that case, in that instance, there is advantageous characteristics to trading these pseudo prop firms. They're not prop, they're monetized demo accounts. But you can learn all about how you see risk that goes beyond just trading with paper or demo. Because if you do it wrong there, you have to pay to reset that. Whereas you were trading a paper account, just click a button and you reset it to whatever you want it to say. But having a procedure of how you're going to grow and develop is important because it's easy to get caught up in the winds of social media. Who's hot, who's not? Who's everybody flaming right now? And who is everybody sucking up to right now? Who's got the hot hand? Who's doing really, really well? Who's dog shit right now? Who can't trade worth a shit right now? I don't keep up with that stuff. I only see that kind of stuff when people at me and they drag somebody else's name in. And these other people ain't doing what I'm doing. Sorry. So when you guys make all these lists and shit, let me allow my arrogance to pop out just for one time, because it hasn't been out one time today until right now. When you want to thank me, thank me. Don't add me to a list of other people that are my fucking students, okay? Because that irritates the shit out of me. That irritates the fucking shit out of me because they are parroting what I've said. Period. Now, let's take it back to me. When you want to thank me, don't. Give God the praise. Now, how's that for humility? Because that's how it should be done. Don't add me to a list of other people that's learning just like you are from me. That's why I never like your posts. I never, ever add a little heart to that kind of stuff because I see that as glad handing. And I am not out here trying to promote you to be a caricature, a hero. Don't have hero worship. Don't look at me as a hero. Don't worship me. Don't do any of that kind of stuff. Learn from me. Take notes. Listen to what I'm telling you that you should focus on and ignore the things I tell you. Don't worry about these things. But a lot of you do it the opposite. Social media is a wonderful tool and you can get rich with it. You can get really, really rich real fast, just like that. Millions of dollars can fall in your hands. If you develop a skill set of knowing how to manage yourself, find setups, you have something new under the sun. You never could do that before until today you can. And when that happens, you're given a choice. You have an opportunity right then and there. I have a talent. I have a skill that I have never had before. And I know there's lots of people out there that want to have what I have right now. And you want to bottle it. And you want to slap a sticker on it and hide those three letters ICT for some of you. I love it. I love how they go every way they can to avoid ever mentioning me. Like Voldemort, you can't say his name. It's so funny. It's great because as soon as you hear him talking, oh shit, that's ICT. That's it. That's his stuff. My vocabulary, not the people that I supposedly rebranded. It's funny, isn't it? If it's been rebranded, why the hell they keep using my terms? Why not just say, here's what it really is? Because what it is what it is, and I made it. But you're going to have a choice. You're going to have a choice. Are you going to be a heel or are you going to be a hero? Because you're going to start one way or the other. And so many people want to start out there, online persona, trying to be something that they're not. Wanting to be viewed as a hero, but fastly become a heel. And it shoots them in the foot. They do it to themselves. They're not equipped. Lots of people out there have tried to step to me and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. And they don't do shit. They don't do shit. Because they don't know themselves. Now, take it back to Patrick Whelan. I saw him a couple years ago. He used to troll me in other people's comment section. And I could care less about him back then. I'm just like, oh, you're just one of the other people. And there was a meme going around where he's screaming because it looks like he's losing on the trade or whatnot. I don't even know. I just love his outbursts because to me it's funny as shit. Like you all like using that meme where I'm talking and then I start yelling and ranting. Those things are scheduled. I put them out there. I am not a bipolar person. Some people still believe that part of my caricature is who I really am. I'm not bipolar, folks. I choose my words very specifically, and they're all timed. This is where I want to pace the speech. It's an ebb and flow. I bring you up high, and I gradually bring you back down. And then when you start feeling like, okay, well, I need him to really juice me up, I toss it in there. That allows you to listen because you think there's going to be something more profound because the element of energy just increased. It's audience management, folks. That's all it is. I learned that from reading. That's it. Reading, not trade-related books. How to speak. I would read the thesaurus just so I can get other words. Because when I was in school, they didn't teach you how to speak eloquently or be very articulate. And I was always fascinated with people that could speak well. I look to people. My best mentors are people that teach how to speak well, but they don't have a skill beyond teaching how to speak well. They're not known for anything except for teaching how to speak well. Give them material that they can study. They could stand up on a stage and talk like they know everything about it because they teach by speaking well. What makes me different than everybody else? I care about your success. How do I know that I can believe ICT just meant what he just said? Because I don't sell you anything. I give you my time, my expensive fucking time. I give it to you. And I entice you to go in and prove me wrong. Because I know that challenge is going to be met by most men. If you have a penis swinging between your legs, you're going to hear what I say and say, I'm going to show this guy he's wrong. I'm counting on you having that. And most of my students have came by that very challenge in the last 2 years because they've been seeing things that nobody else is producing. Which camp is all the big names coming out of? Ours. Our community. The one that everybody says is a cult. And damn it, we are a cult of winners. You know what the membership badge is to be a part of this cult? Not giving a fuck what anybody else thinks. Because the market's going to give to us. It's going to yield to us. They cannot change it. They can't hide it. They cannot prevent you. They can't hold you back. They cannot withstand you. They will not prevent you from getting what you want. 81 fucking ways for me to rob this fucking bank anytime I fucking want. Change the passcode, motherfucker. I got the master passcode. I can go around everything you fucking people want to do. Do it. Change it up. Spin that wheel. Make the high and low go real fast. Both directions. Okay. You can't do that all day. In 60 fucking minutes, I'm going to be in there with a whole new plan. You can't stop me, which means you can't stop them. Who's them? All of you listening. All of you that have had your eyes opened and your mind broadened to boundaries that are way beyond what you first started thinking about as a trader. If I could just take this indicator and I could just get consistent with taking 10 points, if I could just get 10 pips, I could get this much money out of the month, and I wouldn't be struggling to get my car payment paid and my car insurance because I drove around like an asshole, and my car insurance is too high now. I've been having too many accidents because I'm not responsible. I'm reckless. That's why I teach the way I teach. Because if you're getting car accidents all the time or having failed relationships, you're going to fucking suck as a trader. Because you don't manage risk well. Just like you're going to point to, yeah, she left me because she's a piece of shit. She left you because you're a piece of shit. You didn't recognize it. There was warning signs before she left. Vice versa. Ladies, you're not exempt. Guy said, you're not good enough. Cut his losses and found somebody else and got married. He's a piece of shit. No, you were a piece of shit. You just didn't recognize it. When I was a young man, I was a piece of shit. I was a womanizer. I was weak. I did those things because I hated how I existed in my own skin. I'm comfortable in my own skin now. I acknowledge my weaknesses. I acknowledge where my shortcomings are. I know my limitations. And as a trader, you need to know those things. See, it's taboo to mention if you're successful as a trader, if you're successful and consistent and profitable, it's taboo to mention weaknesses. It sounds like an oxymoron. How could you have a weakness? How could you have a weakness if you are proficient, consistent, and profitable, and you know what you're doing, and you manage risk well? How could you possibly even refer to a term in your own character description as a weakness? How could that possibly be? Everyone, every single person that's ever reached a height of proficiency, extraordinary success, a measure cut above everyone else, all of those individuals know exactly what their weaknesses are. Procrastination, laziness, performance anxiety, fear of not being able to do as well as they hoped. They're weaknesses. You know what they are? You know what they are? Things that are not real. You're afraid of the loss that you haven't incurred yet. You're afraid of the losing trade that you did not suffer yet because you took one losing trade, because you took 3 losing trades. You're afraid of that next losing trade. It didn't happen yet. You're giving energy to something that's not there. You have to allow for something new under the sun, the change in your recorded trade history. Yeah, you may have taken a loss, maybe taken 2 losses, maybe 3 trades, losing positions. Maybe you did that. Maybe it was reckless on your part. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just a normal procedure that you followed. You trust the logic, and it didn't pan out because you did it wrong. You just didn't quite see everything there, but you trusted enough to push the button. It doesn't mean the model or the methodology is flawed or that you suck as a trader. It means that you just did it wrong at that time. That transaction, that engagement with price, you just simply did it wrong. You're not inflating it to be something where it causes the whole thing needs to be taken back to the drawing board, scrap everything. But that's exactly what you're doing. You're increasing the level of importance on the outcome of the next trade. When I teach you not to do that, what is it that you teach us, ICT? What is it that you're trying to do? Because I feel like that's what you're doing. You're hiding things from us. You know something, you're hiding it from us. You know, I'm teaching you. I'm teaching you. All the major questions that's ever been asked of me, I've already answered and addressed. And now I'm out here singing and dancing in the rain in front of all of you. And you're asking questions that have already been answered. But you haven't done the work to get the answer for yourself. See, that's the difference. People that come to me and they understand that what I wield, what I hold in my hands, is the market. It's inescapable. I don't give a fuck who you are, where you came from, what you did before, all that shit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All that stuff falls to the wayside. When you sit down with me and I'm explaining price to you, everybody has to stop and say, okay, what he's describing is absolutely the truth because it's happening right now. In my chart, we all have real-time data. We all have it. and I'm using a market that everybody has the same price for, and it's following my logic. It's doing what I'm telling it it's going to do. Why should you fear what has not happened yet versus being encouraged by seeing what you've been witnessing day after day after day and how frequently it happens? That's how you should be thinking. Find your own evidence. Don't look to the heroes that's in our community that are rising up by their own efforts, study, the time they put into it. They showed up every day. Even when they felt like it wasn't working out for them, they were like, oh, I just got to go one more time. Maybe he'll teach me something that's going to give me what I need to get over the hump. Why do I spoon feed and drip the content? Why do I do that? It's not because I'm being monetized here, because look at it. Most of my longest presentations are always on mediums that's not monetized by me. I'm not making any money off of my long-winded best education material. I do that so that way I'm disarming you. You have no weapon against me when I'm doing this. You can't argue and say I'm doing this to make money. I'm not. I'm giving the listeners the ability to make money off of it. You're all welcome to take my spaces and upload them on YouTube. You're welcome to do that. Monetize them. I don't give a shit. Get grocery money. I don't care. I don't care. What I care about is you understanding and not being distracted by the things that people try to say that I'm doing, that I'm leading people astray. I'm giving you far more than everybody that wants to use my name for marketing and say, are you an ICT trader and you want to finally become profitable? Isn't that fucking hilarious? Like, I'm every day profitable, every day in front of you, every day calling it out live. Hello. Something new under the sun. For you is what? Being consistently profitable. You know what happens before you get there? You become comfortable with not being perfect. And when you aim for perfection, but being realistic, knowing that I'm not going to hit it yet, but I'm working towards that measure of a goal. If you're always aiming for perfection, but allowing progress to get you closer to it day by day, that's the proper mindset. You're not defeated when you fall short on it, but when you look back and see the progression is incrementally going higher, your experience is growing. What is that? Something new under the sun. You didn't have that experience before. You see, people that take that scripture out of the Bible and they apply it and misappropriate to things, it's just a straw man argument. Look at the technology we have today. The planes, the cars. That's certainly something new under the sun. Solomon didn't have those things when he talked about it. So there's definitely new things under the sun. But what that passage really refers to is people are creatures of habit. We're like dogs. When a dog vomits, it'll walk away and despise and look at it and say, ugh, that was in my stomach. You can see it on their face. They're like, man, I'm glad that thing's out of my stomach. It was hurting me. And 2, 3 minutes later, what do? They go back and eat it. They return back to its vomit. The Bible talks about that. And that's exactly what you're doing as a developing trader. When you listen to people that cannot do it better, they don't have another solution that's better. They're not consistently able to do what I'm showing you. If I'm going to be a teacher, okay, if I'm going to learn from somebody, I'm going to know that that person knows what they're talking about, is proficient with it, and has proven it. And they have no problem walking it right now. Ask them, do it right now. And those that can, will. So I crushed that whole argument. People that can trade, and others that can't teach ICT concepts. Well, I'll admit that that is true. There's a lot of people that teach my stuff that they cannot trade. because it's hot. It's a hot button right now. Everybody loves it. It works because it's the market. But it's applied to me and even the people that are doing well using what I taught when I'm doing it in front of them. I have a greater impact adversely if I fail in front of you. I've done this before. I think it was a year and a half ago. I was on a live stream and I trolled. I said, okay, I'm going to get a trade in here. I'm going to put a trade in here. Oh, look at that. Oh, sometimes it happens, guys. You don't understand dry humor sometimes. That's probably because I'm not good at it. But I'm telling you, look at what you're able to see me do, how often it's right, how often it goes where I say it's going to go. And then your ideal scenario would be not look at how I executed on it. That's just one way of dozens that you could have entered the trade and did the same thing or better. I love going in and sharing an example of where I executed on the ideas that I've shared in terms of the bias, the narrative, the liquidity pool, and the efficiency, the price is going to go to the draw. And then I engage price based on whatever time I'm sitting in front of the charts. If I pull up my phone and say, oh, it's doing that, let me take that right now. If I'm in a moment with my wife and the conversation drops down slow, I'll ask her, can you have a second real quick? Do you mind if I do something real quick? I want to share something with them. And then sometimes I've missed the ideal entry point because I was not watching the chart at the time. But I can get in there 81 different ways, okay? But I love watching when I share that. A student will come behind and say, I got a better feel than my mentor. I don't look at that and say, go fuck yourself, pal. Who do you think you are? I love that. I love that. That's moxie. And it's encouraging because that's exactly how I felt when I figured out how buying below the opening price on the days it was going to create a large range up day. I felt like I did something better than my mentor, Larry Williams. I didn't look at Larry Williams and piss in his cornflakes and say he sucks as a trader. It just made me feel like, wow, that's real progress because I did something that my teacher didn't do today. Not that Larry Williams couldn't do that or that I can't do that same entry. It's just that's the way it unfolded for you at that moment. You were at the right time when opportunity presented itself. And so many times, people on social media are quick to just want to measure up all the time. Measure up, measure up. Look at the measurement here. No one's coming here. No one's coming here. So by measuring stick principle alone, then you're in the right fucking place. You're learning from somebody that ain't trying to take anything from you, that's building you up on a day that I could be out here watching stupid sports. I could be eating cheeseburgers and fucking hot dogs and eating potato chips like everybody else in America. But I'm spending my time building you up, encouraging you, reminding you, because it's easy to lose sight because you spend any time on social media, it's toxic. And sometimes I just need to take a break away from it because it's like, these people are fucking willfully stupid. Like you choose to be stupid. Like it's literally being laid in front of you and you're arguing about it still. It's not really there. It's this, it's that, it's that. What? What? Like that's peak denial. And I love the people that used to be like that and they've switched perspectives. I almost said switch teams, but I teach against that team mentality. I'm not saying be team ICT. I'm saying be team you incorporated. Take ICT out of it. All I am is the face, the person to listen to, the voice of reason right now to keep you on the right track. That's it. Once you get to the point where you don't need to learn anything else from me, you unplug from me. You don't watch my stuff. You don't follow me on social media. You don't care about what I'm looking at, what I think, because that's going to mess it up. That's what happens when I show up in people's live streams. They become, even if they don't like me or present an attitude that they are opposed to me, suddenly they don't want to take a trade that day. Suddenly they're like, well, I don't like the situation here today. It looks a little this, that, and thing. I'm going to wait. And they close it. I've been in there and people have immediately closed the fucking stream. Like I'm gonna go in there and troll them. Like I don't do those things. Like I don't do that stuff. When I go into a live stream and I'm a member of the audience, I want to be a member of the audience. I'm not there to be a disruption. But I want you as a student to learn not to need me. That's how I've succeeded as a teacher. If I keep you tethered to me, have I taught you anything more than codependence? No. That's why I don't do a subscription-based mentorship. I don't do that. Even when I was doing it, you paid to get 12 months with me, and after that, it's it. I could have kept these people on lifetime memberships, and they would have been paying it. I could have increased it every year, $100 more, $100 more, $100 more. They would have been gladly paying it. Some of them just for the simple fact that they were part of the community and they weren't even trying to learn. I had lots of people in 2016 that did that very thing. They just wanted to be part of it. Oh, this is worth the admission price. I just want to be able to watch what's going on. How do I know that? Because they never learned how to trade, ever. They never did anything with it. Is that what you're here for? I don't mean that rhetorically. I mean that sincerely. Are you here just to spectate, not learn how to speculate? Are you here just for the show of it all? Because that's what I listen to Patrick Williams for, because he's funny. Like he's a very natural, funny kind of guy. It's not always, the type of humor that's palatable. Sometimes it's a little, obscene. I'm not talking about the cuss words, because I can use with those, I can present presentations with those words too, and I repent every time I'm done doing it. But the sexual things and things like that, I don't think that they're necessarily useful. But his change in his character, where he'll be docile for a second and start screaming and dancing around and stomping around. I watch that thing every day now, or he's flipping out and doing push-ups and stuff. That's some funny shit right there. Like that's method acting. That's funny. I mean, I don't care where he comes from. That's funny stuff to me. And the fact that he's willing to do it in front of the world is to me, it's astonishing because it's nuts. Like it's literally nuts. But guess what? Guess what that means? He's got a character. That's his Ric Flair. When Ric Flair, he's the man. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And then when they beat him, they punch him really hard in the ring. He takes 3 steps and then falls right on his face. He's clowning. He's allowing the audience to feel like, yeah, you son of a bitch. I hope that hurts. And he didn't feel anything. He's laughing to the bank because he's performing his role for you, holding your attention. So that way the person he's supposedly wrestling looks good. Patrick has a character. Everybody that's successful on social media has a character. People that are not doing well in social media are not implementing a character. That's the secret. You have to be consistent. Once you adopt a character, or a caricature, it doesn't have to be necessarily what you really are in real life. I'm not a braggart in real life. But I play that stone cold in your face brash because I know it pisses people off. It works. It gets people talking. But my best work isn't the rants that I'm cussing and ranting and raving. That's just to break up the monotony of the discussion. Because sometimes I'll talk and it's like, I'm falling asleep. I'm falling asleep. My wife said it also. Like, your voice is very soothing. I love when you're talking to me because when I'm tired, it relaxes me and I fall asleep easy. I don't get it. I don't like my voice. But I know it works. And when I'm done doing this, I'm going to do sleep aid audiobooks. I'm not, but I'm just trying to be funny. I can make money doing that. Bedtime stories by ICT. But there is something new under the sun every day. There are so many opportunities for you to find what you don't realize or recognize as your future successful self. If you're hanging around people on social media and allowing them to be toxic and constantly dumping on other people, or if they're constantly dumping on you or challenging you, or you're inviting other people to critique your endeavor in wanting to learn how to do this, why would you allow someone that could potentially give you adverse responses, something that's not going to be in agreement with what you went into this learning, hoping to do better in finances? Why would you allow that opportunity for people that may not agree with you, and you allow them the opportunity? So that means you care enough about their opinion. Otherwise, you wouldn't have invited them in the conversation. For them to be able to say something that would be detrimental to your desire to be tenacious. You got to be like that pit bull holding onto a pork chop. You're not letting go. No matter how many people talk bad about me, or what they say about me, or what they say this or that, it doesn't matter, because you have done enough work to see that this stuff works. Because when you're successful and you're making millions of dollars, you're not going to be looking at the shrine of ICT, okay, in your house, lighting fucking candles and paying homage to me. You're not. You're not even going to be thinking about me. And that's exactly what I want from you. I want you to run, spread your fucking wings and fly. Don't look back. No bird gets kicked out of the nest and says, all right, I'm doing really well flying. Let's go back home and check out mom and dad. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. And that's exactly what I want from all of you. While you're in the nest, sure, you got to be coddled a little bit. You got to be encouraged. One day you're going to be out there flying just like the rest of them. But you're not there yet. But some of you want to run out of the nest and think you're ready to fly when you're not. The only thing you're good at and ready to do is bounce one time, and that's it. You won't survive it. So I hold you in the nest long enough for you to discover your weaknesses, because that's the secret. That's the secret that you don't realize. The things that you view underneath your skin that you won't want to talk about to anybody else, the things that you're afraid of, the real things that you're afraid of, failure. You're afraid of it. And as long as you're afraid of failure, you're never going to find success, because you've made failure so formidable that it has no other room on the stage to allow success to arrive. And that'll preach right there. You're fearful of what if. Fill in the blank after that. Anything negative. What if I don't do as well as my girlfriend hoped I would? Let me tell you something. If you've made the mistake of letting your successful trades be seen in the eyes and ear of whoever you're with in a relationship, whether it's a long-term relationship, married, or just recently got together, if you made the mistake of doing that and any progress isn't championed by them, that right there is a red fucking flag. That is a red flag right there. I'm not saying divorce. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying don't talk about it no more. Because if they love you and they really want to see you succeed, they're your friend, they're your lover, they're your partner, they're your significant, they're going to say, that was awesome. How did you do that? Where did you learn that? That's somebody that gives a shit. That's someone that cares. You know what? I've already said it. I'm not going to relive it again. But I only had one person, and I'm not married to her. I only had one person that ever told me those things. So the reasons that I tell you not to talk about it to your loved ones, your family and your friends and coworkers, is because they're not going to see it as a form of an opportunity to encourage you. Because they're doing the same shit, working for their money and doing things that they don't really want to be doing in conditions they don't want to be under. They believe there's nothing new under the sun. Those people believe there's nothing new under the sun. But the people that succeed, not just in trading, everything, they know there's something new under the sun. Look at Elon Musk, this crazy motherfucker. He has rockets that fly and land like you're watching a video in reverse. That to me is fascinating. The little boy in me is fascinated by that. That's wild. That's something new. 200 fucking years ago, we didn't see anything like that. So no, that scripture doesn't encompass everything. There's nothing new under the sun. Meaning that people are creatures of habit and they're going to do things that they should not do, and they know they shouldn't do it, but they still do it anyway. That's living a loser's loop, doing the same things, expecting a different result. That's Einstein's definition of insanity. Here's a testimony of someone that's insane. Someone that keeps going back to watching and listening to me talk about trading and presenting things and never applying the concepts and studying material. They just keep coming back and listening, expecting a different result. Me talking about it, me showing you examples, even if I gave you the entries and the stops and the targets right as it was going to happen, and I did that every single day, it doesn't make you any better of a student or trader. Because as soon as I pull the plug on that, I'm an asshole. You're a piece of shit. You don't care about us. You're being selfish. I had this in the past. These are all things that were said to me when I stopped doing it on internet relay chat. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, and I said, fuck all of you, and I stopped internet relay chat. I was calling the S&P in a room with 1,000 people, and I was calling the stop. I was calling the targets. I was calling wherever I moved my stop, I was calling all that stuff. And when I finally said, I'm done, I don't want to do this anymore. You're an asshole. You're a piece of shit. You're selfish. Same things that people said about me here in recent years. But I don't live on the hopes and acceptance of other people. I don't give a fuck about whether you like me or not. I don't care. I don't care. You're not going to change where I sleep. You're not going to change what I put on every day. You're not going to change the way I live my life. You're not going to give anything that's going to cause me grief. You can't. None of you people have any influence over me. None. But you know what? I respect the measure of influence I have over you. I don't take advantage of you, and I could. If I was a piece of shit, I could be monetizing everything I do and putting price tags on it that none of you would have a problem with fucking paying because you want to be a part of it. That's how you know what I'm telling you is the truth, and you can trust it because I'm not twisting your arm to give me a credit card. I'm I'm investing in you. I'm placing this information and experience into your hands with no upsell later on. You see all these guys, they do it all the time. They got Dean Gracio and what's the other guy? Kind of reminds me of Lurch from the Adams Family. What's this guy? What's his name? Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins. Um, they do these things every year now. They're getting ready to do it, I think, this coming week, where it's free for 3 days. They talk for a couple hours. And it's just basically 3 days of commercial to buy into some bullshit later on. That's it. What are they doing? They're talking to you. They're inspiring you. Sure, they got into real estate. Tony Robbins got into motivational speaking. Used to be a janitor. He was an oddity in the beginning. He was a big guy, kind of looked like Lurch, real kind of awkward. That was to me his gimmick. Like, look at this guy, and that's what held my attention. I've never heard anything from Tony Robbins that said, "Wow, shit, man, I've been doing it all wrong." He's right. He really is right. I need to walk out there on some burning fucking coals right now. Yeah, not realizing that that's one of the oldest tricks in performance. You can walk across coals, but let's scoot your feet under the coals and walk across them. That won't happen. When you walk on coals like that, as long as they have ash on them, when you walk across it, there's a small little moment of time where you'll feel warmth, but you ain't getting burnt. You stand still, you're burning. So that's like when you watch martial artists and they do a display where they take bricks and they stack them on top of each other, and they have a small little pencil or dowel rod in between them. All you have to do is break the top brick and keep the momentum going. When that brick breaks in the middle, that focused impact on the one beneath it keeps going, and it's a chain reaction that breaks all of them. As long as you keep the momentum going down, you have to be able to break that first one. Or a fraud way of breaking a brick, and these are all things I used to do. I used to go to expositions and tell my friend Sean, I said, look, see how he's holding this brick? He's holding this brick up a quarter of an inch above the edge of the brick it's resting on, and they karate chop it, right? Well, if you raise it up above the edge of the brick that you're using as a base, you're smacking and slapping the brick, and that corner creates the break. So even a child can break a brick like that. But put the brick flat and try to chop it, it won't break. So that you can be a fraud and look like a master, but you can't come out here and call yourself a master and not be able to do it in front of everybody. See, I create these internal wrestling matches in all of you as my audience members. I chose that word specifically because not all of you are students, but you all are members of the audience. And I force the decision on you to decide whether or not, wow, this guy really has something that works. A lot of you now fall in love with ICT concepts because you've seen two men come out there and make a huge amount of money in a very small period of time. What's changed? You watch somebody else in the audience get off their ass and apply themselves and do it. I did not tell any of these individuals what to buy or sell. I didn't tell them when to get in, when to get out, what size contract to trade, period. They did it all by themselves. They used the same material that's exposed to you right now too. What's the difference? Something new under the sun for them. A desire to do it the right way. Stop doing it the wrong way. Stop believing it can't be for them. This world is going to tell you that you're never going to be successful. It's too hard. Don't even try. Just be thankful that you have a good job and you can pay your bills. Folks, that's getting real hard to do. That's getting real hard to do. And what kind of life is that? Is that passionate living? No. Do you wake up in the morning and say to yourself, I'm awake now. Damn it, I got so many opportunities. Let's get out of this bed and let's get it going. Let's go. Chances are, hell the fuck no. I don't need to drink coffee. I don't drink coffee. That shit will cause brain damage, okay? Dementia is the result of what you're doing. Don't believe me. I don't want you to believe me. Do your own research. But coffee leads to onset dementia later on. You drink a lot of it, you're increasing it. You don't need to stimulate yourself like that. If you're passionate about what you're doing every day and you have a principally oriented life, why are you getting out of bed today? Well, for most of you, it's because you have to go to work. Why? Because you have to take care of yourself. You have a family to take care of. You have means to an end to get your ends met. Whatever that job is, whatever that means is, you have to get there on time to keep yourself gainfully employed. You may not be excited about going there or being there or even appreciate the fact that you're gainfully employed, but you should be. You should be thankful that you are right now making your ends meet, even if it's by barely getting it done by your job, because a lot of people don't have that right now. So you're actually doing a lot better than most people, even if you're just working your job. How you think about what your efforts are going to be yielding to you is important. And guarding it from everyone else so they don't shit on it, discourage you. Nobody could ever discourage me. Ever. 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 I'm never short on confidence. I'm never confused about the measure of opportunities I have in front of me every single day. Before I get out of bed, I could make a deal with several things out there that were passionate about trying to build an affiliate with me I'm not trying to build affiliates with anybody else. They're trying to build affiliates with me. I'm the fucking product. I am the enterprise. I am the legacy. They want to be a part of what I'm doing. I don't want to be a part of anything else. I like being standalone. That's what makes me ICT. Individual. I follow nobody else. I walk in my own lane and I trailblaze. No one's walked where I walked. They're all walking behind me because I'm making those trails. That's how I live my life. I wanted to be that type of person in the world when I was younger because I wasn't significant in my own family's eyes. And that's what fueled me. And I know the level and measure of influence I have right now, it could be abused. And when I stand in front of the Lord, I'm going to be able to say, I did not take advantage of them. I encouraged all of you. I showed you how to do it. And then I actually told you what I was going to do. And then I did it. Proving the concept, proving the ability, proving the can do aspect of it. And I did it without having a price tag attached to it. And I love doing it. I love getting up and doing that because I know I needed it back then. I would have loved someone like me. You think I love myself right now? I would have loved myself back then. And that's how I perform. I perform in a way where it would have filled all of the needs that I had as a 20-year-old. I wanted a strong male persona. I wanted that. I wanted to look up to somebody like that. Because I seen a bunch of sycophants in my own family that were drug users, drug abusers, drinkers, alcoholics. Sure, they were functioning alcoholics. They had a home. But their marriage was a fucking shamble. Their health was a shamble. They were constantly complaining about life. And here I am, I'm thinking to myself, shit, man. Like, I'm making $2.50 an hour, minimum wage, scrubbing dishes at a deli, trying to get, anybody to give me some advice. Because I didn't want to be like that. I wanted beyond what I saw in my own family. I was like, I'm not accepting anything less. I was not destined to live that way. I wasn't destined to be like that. I knew it at a young age. I believed it. I believed it before I even knew how I was going to do it. What is that? That's mindset. You have to have a tenacious spirit about this because this is not easy to do. Trading is absolutely easy as shit, but it is not fucking easy to do. And it doesn't sound like it's logical when you hear it, especially if you've never traded before. You're like, this guy's talking out his ass and mouth at the same time. How are you supposed to make sense of what he's talking about? He literally just contradicts everything he just said. And that's how you know someone's never traded before. Because when there's no money on the line and there's no one aware of what you're doing right then and there, and it works in your hands, that is exactly how it's supposed to be. You've not invited anybody else to critique it. You don't have to live up to the expectation. They're never going to be able to tell you, why didn't you buy more? Why didn't you use a smaller stop loss? Why didn't you aim higher? Or why didn't you hold the short longer? That's the devil. That's the accuser that goes right in the mouth of these people. And social media is his playground. And I, many times, like Elijah, I look at all of you false prophets of Baal, and I beg you all, come out here and build an altar, and let's see who knows what. And I slaughter all of you all the time. Some of you won't even take a step. I'm pretty good at trade, but let's just pretend that guy doesn't even exist. I got people blocking me that I've never even seen before because they're attached to something else that someone's talking about. I'm like, let me click on, and I'm blocked. I don't even know who the fuck these people are, but I'm blocked. I've never even mentioned them before, but I'm blocked. It's like the scene in Deadpool where all the mutants are in the study and they see Deadpool rolling down in the wheelchair and they're like, oh shit, let's just close the door, pretend he's not here. That's what it's like. It's amazing how that character lines up with what my whole life is like online. He's my spirit animal. But you have to have it in you to know that there's absolutely something new under the sun for you. And that might just be $1,000 a week. And that's all you ever get to. You know what that means? You succeeded. But you won't look at it like that unless you're making 6 figures a month. Imagine just for a moment, if all you manage to do is find consistency where your comfort level with just managing risk and the frequency of trading only yields you $1,000 net every single week. What happens if that happens to you? For some of you, you're thinking, oh, that's failure, man. That's failure. It's not even worth doing. Really? Really? You're telling me that you walk out your house every fucking day, and on Friday morning, there's $1,000 sitting on the bottom step of your front porch. You're going to curse that? You're going to say, fuck this bullshit. I better not come back out here next Friday and find this $1,000. Somebody's ass is in a sling if I find another $1,000 out here next Friday. You hear me? But that's the equivalent of what you're doing. When you see progress that you see right now and you can't see beyond it. You can't see past that right now. This is the best that you've arrived at. It's a plateau. You can't get past it. Well, what happens if you never get past that? Is that a curse? Are you doing less by doing so? Fuck no. That's a blessing. That's your ends being met. That's grocery fucking money. Maybe even all of the subscription shit that you signed up to every fucking month that you think it's only cheap, but you got 30 of them. And you're spending a fucking car payment and all these little services that you don't need. But you say you don't have money to trade. I blocked this woman. She's, oh, I got to GoFundMe. Come on, let's run it up, guys. If you care, help a G. Come on, man. Help me get an account. Fuck you. Fuck you, woman. Get yourself a fucking job. Get yourself a fucking job and then put your own fucking money in an account. Fucking panhandling people. Unbelievable. Level of entitlement. Get the fuck out of here. You lazy motherfuckers. You lazy motherfuckers. I got no patience and time for people like that. Get the fuck out of here. The people that are going to do it, they're going to do it with their own fucking effort, their own fucking money. They're going to fucking strap down and say, you know what? I got shit around my house I don't need. Let me fucking sell it. I got time on the weekend. I can deliver some fucking pizzas. I can fucking do that. It's not beneath me. I know that when I do this for 3 fucking months, yeah, somebody might see me. It might be fucking embarrassing. It might be a little fucking put down. Oh, look at this guy. I saw him delivering pizza. Haha. But if you got a model, if you got a fucking model that you've been working behind the scenes that nobody can critique you on, and you've seen the evidence that you can do it, and you're managing the risks, you're managing the expectations of just yourself, not everybody else's observed perspective of whether you should be good or not. What measurement of good are you at really in their eyes? Fuck their eyes. Fuck them. These people work. That's like an athlete that's fucking making millions of dollars on the fucking playing field, going up to the audience and hey, listen, that last play I just did, we just won the Super Bowl, but what's your opinion? Get the fuck out of here. You got no opinion. You're a spectator. You paid to watch. I'm paid to fucking do. It doesn't matter what none of you fucking think about me. It doesn't matter what they think about you. It does not matter. They can't see past the right now. So your progress, the plateau you're on right here, right now, that's not it. That's not all there is. All that means is you have now got to dig your heels in and say, okay, what am I missing? I can't get past this $1,000 a week. And if it may not be $1,000. It may be you're only making break even. Make a little bit of money, come by Friday, you're back down to the same thing you had at the beginning of the week. And you've been there for weeks. I'm going to tell you, as an educator, as someone that's gone through the same bullshit, that is progress. You're not blowing the account. You're not staying in drawdown. But there's a weird state or transition that has to take place there. When you're at break even, that's where you get impatient. because you want to leave it. You want to quickly leave being a break-even trader because you're just sick of it. I got to start seeing money. You are seeing money. You are. You're coming out of those little drawdown, those losing trades. That's progress. There's so many more people out there that can't do that. And you got to accept the fact that that's where you're at for right now until you grow out of it. How long you stay there is dictated by how you think and the actions that you take and the people you invite to critique you at that moment. If you're at break even, the worst thing in the world is for you to go online and say you're a break even trader. What are you doing that for? The wrong reasons. You don't realize it, but you're doing it for the wrong fucking reasons. Nobody's going to come to you and coddle you and hold you by the shoulders and say, honey, listen, Daddy thinks you're going to do so much better than you think right now. Just keep working hard at it, okay? Everything's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. No, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you, well done. That's progress because that's good. It's good that you're not blowing the account. But I'm not going to sugar talk and blow smoke up your ass and say, honey, everything's going to be great. You're going to be rich. Because a lot of people are going to stay in that break-even state and then fall victim to impatience because they want to make money real fast. They want to be able to prove to themselves and, more importantly, everybody outside of themselves that they can do this. They've made it a comeback story, like a fucking movie plot. You're the main character. I've done all that stuff before. And every time, instead of the Rocky outcome of Rocky 2, it was Rocky 1. Sure, he didn't get knocked out by Apollo. He got fucked up by Apollo. If you look at how he looked at the end of that match, it didn't look like he did good. He just survived. That's a break-even trader. You got to get to Rocky Part 2. And look what he did. He doesn't look like the same Rocky Balboa in that movie in Part 2. This motherfucker's in shape. What did he do? Back tested, managed risk, showed up to the gym, studying price. And he had to have his montage moments to encourage him. That's what these are right now. That's why ICT does Twitter Spaces, because it activates the main character in you. You feel like you're Rocky. You feel like you can run through a fucking brick wall. This motherfucker gets me. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Preach! I needed to hear that right now. I know. I needed this, and nobody did it for me. So I did it for myself. I used to talk this shit just like this to myself in the fucking car driving. I talked to myself just like this. I was the audience of one, and I was talking my shit to myself. I was the only fucking cheerleader I had. I was the only one that pushed my ass and said, get it going, get it going, get it going. If you need me or anybody else to fire your ass up, you don't want it bad enough. And I mean it. If you don't fucking get yourself inspired and talk yourself to a point where you appreciate the fact that you're putting the effort into it, and the effort you're putting into it is significant. Not, I looked at it for 10 minutes. I watched the first 10 minutes of his video. It's amazing. I'm looking at the statistics on the videos. I was wanting to see what's the view time, what's the ratio of viewership for the videos. And I went down to like 5 minutes and 8 minutes. 30% watch time. Why even bother looking at the video? Like, why even bother? It's the same thing that happens when I start a new mentorship or new playlist, and I put this content up there. The first video, out the gate, yeah, we're all here. Second video, at least a 60% decline. And then it falls off even more. And that's why I put all the best stuff towards the later portions of playlists. Because you don't fucking deserve it when you're lazy. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. Why should it be made any easier for you if you're going to be lazy? Because you already proven to me by the statistics that are being measured, and I'm not saying they're accurate. I don't know if they're accurate or not, but I'll trust it enough to say this is what I see. But you're proving it to yourself. You see people making money with it. You see me using it every single day, calling it in advance. This is what's going to do. And then I'm executing on it. Even if it was a demo account, never was ever a live account ever done, used once ever again. You still don't have an excuse. You don't have an excuse. When I showed the live account, it wasn't good enough. When I told you in advance it was a demo account, it wasn't good enough. I don't give a fuck what your opinion is. I don't care. The people that are here to learn, they see it. They know what's going on. And they're like, well, if he can do that every day, I can find one of them a week at least. Even if it's half of what he's able to do, that's better than my job. And I can let that grow to 2 years living expense and get myself $50,000 to $100,000 in money saved up. And I can quit my job and follow a model that I've proven to myself during those 2 years of saving up those tiers of income, growing my account up to a state of $50,000 to $100,000 where I can not feel the impulse that I have to take a trade because I have to make my bills because I have 2 years of living experience, or not experience, expense, not using it to live lavishly. It's just there if you need it. It's not for you to dip into all the time. It's there just in case your trading doesn't give you what you need to make for that month. And when you start seeing how little you have to go to those 2 years of living expense, that's huge confidence. Huge confidence. Because now you have a nest egg right from Jump Street, where the problem is everybody wants to go into it to build a nest egg before they start trading, live. I'm going to start trading live and look to quit my job so I can build my nest egg. And that's why you fail. That's why I failed. Over and over and over again as a young man, I was rushing it. I was begging for something new to be under the sun then, not recognizing I was holding it in my hands. And I had something that worked really well, and I demanded it to do more than I needed it to do. And because I was living up, well, not living up, but I was trying to live up to the measurement that other people online when I was first starting, there was this website, okay, and I think I've mentioned this before. I'll say it here because I don't really want to put it in the book and immortalize the guy, but this is going to be enough for it. His name was Dean Keller. Never saw the guy's face. He had you think my website's generic. This guy's fucking shit was even worse. It was basically a hammock between two palm trees, a cartoonish drawing of a beach hammock. And he called himself the Caribbean Trader. And you never seen him call anything out. He never gave any trade ideas. He would always just post that he made like $19,000 on a trade in commodities. And I used to look at that shit and it would piss me off. I'm like, man, this is bullshit. When I was making a couple $100s a day on a very small account trading the grains, that was big for me. That was progress. I mean, we're talking back then where my whole fucking week after taxes, bring home pay, was $285, man. And I was making that sometimes in one day, just trading soybeans or corn. Not every day, but in one day I could make that. And that's huge fucking progress. But when I would read this guy's billboard post or his website post, he would always talk about what he did. And that pissed me off. I'm like, this motherfucker never shows a losing trade. He's always making like annual salaries in his trades. And I couldn't stop going back to watch it like a dog returning back to its vomit. And it bothered me. This motherfucker, faceless piece of shit that never proved he could fucking trade, had that much influence of me as a 20-year-old. And that's why I love the fact that I had that influence over people that love to hate me. They don't even have a valid reason to even hate me, but they do. So I fuck with them all the time. I give them a little bit of bait and let them run their mouth, and then I come up here with a sledgehammer and smash their fucking head in. Hello. Every week is the same fucking show here. The outcome is predetermined. I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to be able to be used by me as a trader. And I know where I'm not going to want to take a trade in. I don't want to take a trade in certain conditions. I teach enough of that to keep you out of the majority of the trouble, but I'm not going to teach you everything about that because then that's me teaching what I'm holding for my kids. There are times when an order block won't be there. There are times when a fair value gap will fucking fail. It will. It will do that. I know when they're going to be likely to see that happen. That's why you see I'm very selective when I'm telling you I'm going to be participating in front of you. And when I participate in front of you, I'm batting 1,000. And that's the track record that matters. Knowing in advance before it happens, and then I'm telling you it's going to do it, and then I do it. You can't fake that, folks. You cannot fucking fake it. When you scroll left and it's the same fucking account, you can't fake that. Sorry if it hurts your fucking feelings. Not sorry. But you have to find a way to motivate yourself beyond me. Because I'm getting old, folks. And I'm going to be real honest with you. It's very hard for me to be inspired to make these fucking videos. Like, I just don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. You know, I look at my family, how my youngest, he's graduated homeschooling now. Like, if I wasn't raising my niece, I'm close to being an empty nester. And all the decisions I made to be ICT are really coming home to roost right now because I look at all the time that I wasted not being dad. If you're not careful, you can do a lot of things living a lifestyle where you think you're entertaining yourself, and you might be, but you're doing things that are going to pale in value when you look back and you say, you know, if I could go back in time, would I have done it the same way? No. Nope. My biggest life lessons I can share with you as someone that's been doing this for 33 years, my best advice, and I mean this wholeheartedly, is to not live online. Don't make your wishes, your pursuits known to anybody else. You just do it. Never allow someone to be able to critique what your life's passions are and what you're doing while building it up. Think about it in the corporate world. When they have a new idea, remember there's something that's nothing new under the sun, but there's always some new gadget, new thing that everybody wants to buy. So again, that scripture has been misappropriated to many things. It teaches that everybody does the same things by habit, and there's nothing new under the sun. We fall victim to our own selves. And then when you realize that you're doing the same things wrong, and you don't make changes, there's nothing new under the sun then. You're going to constantly go right back to where you started and feel like you're living a self-defeated life. When your perspective needs to be changed, like a corporate perspective, when they have a new product or a new service, in the board, when they're all talking about how they're going to do it, how they're going to bring it to market, it's hush hush. You cannot talk about it. But sometimes it gets leaked to other companies, and then all of a sudden you see another company spit out their version of it beforehand so they can get ahead of it. Kind of like what all you assholes are doing on Amazon trying to write your books. You're going to look real fucking stupid when mine drop. It's going to fucking be fun. But anyway, the point is, there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to come up with a new way of doing something. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the right way for you. It doesn't mean it's the right way at all. It just means that they're marketing it as such. And in corporate world, it's a hush hush. You need to do the same thing because you incorporated, you, the person, whatever your name is, incorporated. That's your enterprise. Why the fuck are you taking boardroom planning and strategizing and bringing it to the public eye before it's even brought to market yet? You haven't arrived yet. That successful image of who you are as a trader that makes money consistently, you can shit in anybody's fucking palm that says you ain't nothing. Before you're there, why are you giving trade secrets and design plans about yourself? Why are you making it public before that product is realized in you? Why are you doing that? Because that's exactly what you're doing. And that's why 80% of businesses fucking fail, because they don't plan for setbacks. They fucking plan for good only working. It's always the best stuff. And they're not prepared for adversities. They're undercapitalized. and you don't have the mental capital to weather the bullshit that's going to come at you when you're learning and you bring up my name or anything else. I don't give a shit. You could be making money. You come to me, you talk to me about Elliott fucking Wave, supply and demand, Wyckoff, any fucking thing. I'm going to laugh in your fucking face. I'm going to laugh in your fucking face because it's substandard. It pales in comparison to what it is I do and what I'm teaching. Nothing gets closer to perfect, to the tick. Nobody gets better than that. No system is consistent in doing that, but ours. We do that. That's a normal day at the job. That's business as usual around here. Precision Incorporated. That's us. That's fucking us. We're not imitating somebody else. We're not putting a new sticker on the fucking outside and calling it something else. We're walking the talk. We are fucking doing it. We are doing it. And nobody else outside of this community can touch it or even come fucking close. And none of them have the fucking balls to come here and say, here's what I can do better. Just like Brad Pitt in Troy. Is that all? Is there no one else? Is there no one else? Because I've conquered every fucking school of thought in trading. There ain't a motherfucker out there that can come close to this. Not one. Not one. And you doubt. You're all waiting for a champion that ain't going to come. They ain't going to fucking come. And the whole time you're wasting time. You could do so much better than I did. You could have been faster on your feet than I was. You could have went into this with far less anxiety by thinking how I'm teaching you to think. I didn't have all this stuff, man. I didn't have this. So I know, if I know by living it, and this is what I've learned, these are the proper perspectives. If you apply that to the superiority of what I'm teaching in technical terms, you are fucking impossible to overcome. You can't worry about other people being even close to you then. You're on a different plane of existence, man. It's not even like you're fucking relatable to anybody else. It sounds arrogant. This guy's full of shit. Listen to him. He believes his own bullshit. I'm that same motherfucker that tells you where the price is going, and I'm in it. I don't get it fucking wrong. Unless I want to. Unless I want to. That's that little dig. Oh, he only loses when he wants to. He did that to teach you. You're fucking right, I did that just to teach you. I can show you a loss. I can do that for you. It's no sweat. It's absolutely 100% scripted. I'm staying kayfabe, baby. But you're ignoring every time I tell you it's going to do it, and it does. It's funny how that's a selective discussion. You give them a little bit of cheese, a little bit of bait. Look at this, look at this. And I got my strings on you, making you dance around like a marionette. You're my amusement. People that come here and they hate and they talk shit, stay here long enough, and I'll make you eat your words. And some of you like to watch me do that. And I feel guilty when I do that because I'm inspiring you to look for those types of things. And that's the one thing I wish I didn't do. But that's the 20-year-old me coming out. Like, I got to get my fucking taste of blood and twist that fucking knife because I needed to be able to do that back then. I don't need to do that now. I don't need that. If all of you change teams and say, you know what, fuck ICT. Okay. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to wake up in this house tomorrow, drive the same fucking cars, have the same bank account balances, go over to fuck wherever I want to go, choose not to go where I don't want to go, and not have to have a job for the rest of my days. Whether you love me or don't like me, whether you believe what I teach works or doesn't work. I'm at a fuck you level with fuck you money. And I'm not here to prove that I have all that just so I can look good. I come here to show you that I know what I'm talking about. I have the authority to teach what it is I'm teaching because I authored it. I know it better than anybody else. It's not an incomplete understanding that all of you have. But even a fractional understanding of the things I teach is a fucking light year leap ahead of everything else. That's what I'm trying for you to recognize. And where you're at in that spectrum of development and progress is unique to you. And you have to submit to wherever you're at right now and realize that you are on a journey. You're taking yourself from one state of existence to a higher plane of existence with understanding, and you are able to stay in rule-based parameters. Most people can't do that, and that's why they fail. That's why businesses fail, because they don't plan well. They have a poor plan in terms of business plan, and they don't have it mathematically, statistically probable they're going to be successful at all. Look how many times pizzerias and sub shops open up in your area. I guarantee you, they are the fastest startups and closings than you'll ever notice in your neighborhood, in your communities. I worked those types of jobs when I was a teenager. I delivered food for them. I made the cheesesteaks, and a motherfucker walking around here that can't make a better cheesesteak than me. People from Philadelphia come down here and eat from my fucking shit. I used to be fucking good at it. I was a good grill man. But I watched many places open up and close down because they don't plan well, and they also go into a saturated market. Supply and demand is the secret sauce to trading. Okay, why does everybody have a different supply and demand zone? Why ain't they all seeing the same fucking supply and demand zone on that very time frame? They're all looking at that one time frame, but they see something else. But then you come into our community, there's only one fucking breaker. There's only one first presented fair value gap. It's already fucking not even a competition. It's already completely insane comparing itself to it. I mean, you gotta really talk to yourself. Next time you're driving home from work, tell yourself, you know what? I'm learning how to identify the very moment where price is going to go back to and use that as a trade to send price higher or lower to a level I can clearly see is a draw on liquidity. You know what that fucking is? That is a super fucking power, because 99.9% of these dumb motherfuckers chasing retail bullshit logic and hero worshiping, giving hero fellatio to people that can't even fucking trade out of a wet paper bag. These motherfuckers are worshiping these people that can't fucking trade, and they're ignoring what you're fucking learning, and I'm proving. And other students are killing it, and they're fucking ignoring it. Why? Because they're choking on the fucking caricature of ICT. They don't want to be able to say, I learned from this fucking guy. They don't want to do it, and I love that. I fucking love it! Because I've proven that you can't do it without you even making an effort to try. I killed your fucking spirit just by me talking, let alone coming out here and fucking trying to put something up against